Welcome back to Binge Movie Breakdowns. Today, we're diving into Heretic 2024, a psychological thriller that explores faith, manipulation, and the terrifying power of belief. If you enjoy our breakdowns, be sure to like this video and subscribe to Binge Movie Breakdowns for more weekly recaps. Now, let's get started. The movie begins in a cold, snow-covered countryside, the stillness of the landscape setting an eerie tone for the story ahead. Sisters Barnes and Paxton, young Mormon missionaries, walk toward an old, isolated house. Their personalities couldn't be more different. Barnes is confident and charismatic, while Paxton is quiet, her nervousness clear in every step she takes. When they knock, a man named Mr. Reed answers the door. He's a middle-aged recluse with a warm smile and a calm demeanour. Reed invites them in, mentioning his wife is in the back baking a blueberry pie. The sisters hesitate but decide to enter, driven by their faith and their mission to spread their beliefs. Inside, the house is dim and cluttered with religious artifacts, crosses, old scriptures, and items from various faiths. The sisters sit down as Reed offers them tea, and their conversation begins. At first, it feels friendly, centered on religion and faith, but soon Reed's tone shifts. He starts making sharp remarks about Mormonism, questioning its legitimacy and comparing it unfavorably to other religions. Paxton becomes visibly uncomfortable, her nervous energy filling the room. Barnes, on the other hand, remains calm and firm. She confidently counters Reed's arguments, refusing to let him shake her faith. The tension grows as Reed's seemingly polite demeanour gives way to something darker, hinting that the sisters may have walked into a situation far more dangerous than they imagined. Reed steps out of the room, leaving the sisters alone in the unsettling space. As they wait, Barnes begins noticing strange details. The strong smell of blueberry pie lingers, but something feels off. Looking around, she spots a scented candle, the source of the smell. Her unease deepens. Meanwhile, Paxton checks the door and finds it locked. Even worse, her phone has no signal. They're completely cut off, and panic begins to creep in. When Reed returns, he leads them into his study, a dark and suffocating room filled with old books and strange artifacts. The air feels heavy as Reed starts speaking. His lecture is unsettling, filled with claims that all religions are just variations of a single, twisted truth. His tone grows darker as he insists he has uncovered the one true religion. The sisters exchange worried looks, their instincts screaming that something is very wrong. Reed presents them with a grim choice. Two doors. One is labelled belief and the other doubt. He demands they pick one to prove their faith. Barnes, refusing to be intimidated, confronts Reed. With steady determination, she declares her unwavering belief in God. Without hesitation, she pulls a hesitant Paxton toward the door marked belief. As they move forward, the tension in the room is almost unbearable. Each step feels like a leap into the unknown, but Barnes refuses to back down, trusting in her faith to guide them. To their horror, both doors lead the sisters to the same dreadful place, a dark, cold dungeon. The walls are damp, and the air reeks of rot and decay. In the centre of the room sits an old, frail woman, trembling and sickly. Reed introduces her as a prophet. With a sinister calm, he forces the sisters to watch as the woman eats a poisoned pie. Moments later, she collapses to the floor. Reed, unfazed, tells them she will soon resurrect, offering proof of his one true religion. The sisters beg Reed to let them go, their voices trembling with fear. But Reed ignores their pleas, his focus entirely on the horrific spectacle. The tension rises when a church elder arrives at the house, possibly searching for the sisters. Desperate, they scream for help, but Reed has planned everything carefully. The elder never hears them, and their cries go unanswered. Time drags on in the cold, suffocating room. Then, something impossible happens. The prophet's lifeless body begins to move. Suddenly she rises, her voice weak but clear. She describes an afterlife full of warmth, light, and peace. Paxton, shaken, starts to doubt her own beliefs. But Barnes remains firm. She notices the prophet's visions sound like common near-death experiences and accuses Reed of staging everything. Reed smirks, his dark eyes gleaming with amusement. He's clearly enjoying their torment, leaving the sisters trapped in his twisted game. Barnes, always defiant, signals Paxton to attack Reed. But before they can move, Reed reacts with shocking speed, slashing Barnes's throat. The act is brutal and leaves Paxton frozen with fear. Barnes falls to the floor, her blood spreading around her as she fights to stay alive. Reed kneels beside her, pulling a small metal object from her arm. He claims it's a microchip, proof that Barnes was never real and that their world is just a simulation. Paxton, horrified but paying close attention, realizes Reed is lying. The object is a contraceptive implant, not a microchip. This is the first crack in Reed's story, and Paxton starts piecing the truth together. Reed's grand plan begins to unravel. While everyone was distracted by the Elder's arrival, another woman secretly took the place of the prophet's body. The resurrection was staged, and the prophet's vision of the afterlife was written by Reed himself. But the imposter added her own words. "It's not real." This unexpected twist ruined Reed's plan. Killing Barnes and trying to convince Paxton of a fake world were desperate acts to maintain control. Reed's lies are falling apart, and Paxton sees through them. Paxton stumbles upon a hidden underground chute where the prophet's body was discarded. Driven by curiosity and dread, she climbs down into the darkness. What she finds is horrifying. A chamber filled with cages holding thin, starving women. Their faces show pain and hopelessness, and Paxton is shaken to her core. It's a scene of pure cruelty. Reed's goal becomes clear: to control others through fear and manipulation, the very foundation of the religion he created. Paxton refuses to give up. She finds a letter opener, clutching it tightly as her only weapon. When Reed appears, she faces him with determination. She strikes, stabbing him in the stomach, but the fight is brutal. Reed fights back, overpowering her and stabbing her in return. Paxton falls, bleeding and weak. With little strength left, she begins to pray, not to ask for help, but to find comfort in her final moments. She tells Reed that prayer isn't about miracles, it's about showing kindness and feeling connected to something bigger. Reed, consumed with rage, dismisses her words. He raises his weapon, ready to end her life. Paxton, even in pain, clings to her faith in human goodness as the struggle reaches its breaking point. Just as Reed raises his weapon to strike Paxton, Barnes appears, somehow still alive. With every ounce of strength left in her, she picks up a wooden plank and swings it at Reed. The blow is deadly, and Reed collapses to the floor, lifeless. Barnes has saved Paxton, but the effort proves too much. She sinks to the ground, her body too weak to hold on. In her final moments, Barnes dies as a hero, her last act one of courage and selflessness. Paxton, wounded and exhausted, is left to face the aftermath. She pushes herself to escape, climbing out of a small basement window into the freezing wilderness. The snow-covered world outside is cold and silent, the icy air stinging her skin as she struggles to move. Each step is harder than the last, her energy draining with every moment. Eventually, her legs give out, and she collapses into the snow, the cold biting at her as her strength fades. As she lies there, on the edge of consciousness, a butterfly lands softly on her hand. Earlier, Paxton had talked about wanting to be reincarnated as a butterfly, a gentle symbol of hope and connection to the ones she loves. For a brief moment, the butterfly stays, its presence offering a quiet comfort in the desolation. Then, it spreads its delicate wings and flies away, leaving Paxton alone in the frozen landscape. Her fate remains uncertain, but the butterfly's visit leaves behind a faint glimmer of hope. Heretic 2024 is a chilling exploration of faith, control, and the human need for meaning. The film's gripping narrative forces us to question the nature of belief and the lengths to which people will go to enforce it. Paxton's journey from a timid follower to a courageous survivor is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Thank you for watching Binge Movie Breakdowns. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more in-depth breakdowns of your favourite films. Let us know in the comments what movie you'd like us to cover next. Until next time,